Trilogy of Terror is one of those rare television movies that defies expectations. You know what I mean. Back in the day, TV movies were a dime a dozen. It seemed like there was at least one of these things on one of the big three networks every day of the week, and most of them were just kinda okay. While they were a serviceable way to spend a couple of hours, the quality of these movies was often a step down from what you'd expect to find in theaters. And as you might expect, the production budget for these movies was just a fraction of what you would get if you were seeing a George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, or even a John Carpenter film. But with all that said, there is one TV movie that in my mind can stand toe-to-toe with many of those cinematic blockbusters. Just breathe it in. Take a look at this TV Guide ad. To say that Karen Black is sensational in this movie is not hyperbole in any way. In fact, the multiple characters that she plays in this especially horrifying ABC Tuesday movie of the week, which is an anthology of 3 mind-blowing stories, well, it's an acting tour de force, and it's the first of 5 reasons why this movie is so special. And although I remember Karen Black from movies like Easy Rider and 5 Easy Pieces, it is this TV movie that forever made me a fan of her work. And to think, the only reason that Black decided to do this film was that her boyfriend at the time had a major role in it. Holy cow. I can't imagine this movie without her. So anyway, what Karen does in this movie with 4 very different characters is just so much fun to watch. Each of the 3 stories are named after the characters that Black plays. The first segment is titled Julie, the second, Millicent and Therese, and the third segment, the one that will forever be burned in my brain for a lot of different reasons, is titled Amelia. Reason number 2 that Trilogy of Terror is so awesome has to do with the man who came up with all this craziness. He's legendary author Richard Matheson. I've got to say, I really love this guy's work. In addition to these amazing novels you see here, Matheson wrote the screenplay for another classic TV movie, the Steven Spielberg directed Duel starring Dennis Weaver, and one of my all-time favorite movies, Somewhere in Time, starring Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour, was based on another novel by Matheson titled Bid Time Return. And the number 3 reason why this movie is so freaking great is because 2 of the 3 stories written by Matheson were adapted for the screen by William F. Nolan. Yep, the same William F. Nolan who co-wrote Logan's Run with George Clayton Johnson. And coming in at the number 4 slot is the director of this movie. Nope, not Barnabas Collins, but rather Dan Curtis was the director of this movie. Dan, of course, is the man who brought Dark Shadows to daytime TV during the late 60s. Clearly the man knows a thing or two about how to scare an audience. Okay, now that I've covered 4 of the 5 reasons why Trilogy of Terror is such an awesomely amazing, scary movie, it's time to reveal reason number 5. And it's a big one, and it's a little one. I can only be talking about this ferocious little Zuni warrior doll that can't be more than a foot or so tall. You see, he's the antagonist of the final story in the trilogy, and I have to tell you, this little feller really does give me the creeps. Way more than Chucky. Truthfully, that guy never scared me. Now, Mrs. Beasley scares me, but for different reasons than the little Zuni warrior doll. Nothing says creepy like Mrs. Beasley. That doll almost single-handedly ruined Family Affair for me. But I'm getting sidetracked here. I'd like to talk more about the Zuni warrior doll. But I don't want to give anything away for those who have yet to see this movie. So instead, let me offer up a bonus reason for why this movie is so wonderfully scary. It's this guy. And no, Rod Serling didn't have anything to do with this TV movie. But Matheson cut his teeth writing for Serling, and Serling perfected the art of anthology storytelling with his classic TV series, The Twilight Zone. Trilogy of Terror is like 3 episodes of The Twilight Zone stitched together without Serling on hand to narrate. Even though he wasn't involved in the making of this movie, his influence can be felt in every single frame. One quick story, when I was in the 7th grade at South Davis Junior High, a member of the faculty felt like Trilogy of Terror would be a fun movie to show the student body at a Halloween assembly. I can still remember the girls next to me screaming and literally crying, particularly during that third segment with the Zuni Warrior doll. And the next day, we were handed a nice apology letter signed by the principal expressing his deep regret over the poor judgment shown. This was back when email wasn't an option. I'm not sure how many of those notes actually found their way into the hands of parents. Regardless, the showing of that movie was a legendary achievement that would not be surpassed until my high school geometry teacher chose to show us the R-rated Caddyshack in class during the days leading up to our end-of-year holiday vacation. So, hopefully I've made my case about this movie, and if you haven't already seen it, you can track this wonderfully terrifying movie down right here on YouTube, at least for the time being, and watch it. Maybe on Halloween night. Seems to me like that would be the perfect time to watch this little gem. Alright, now it's your turn. Please share your memories in the comments section, and while you're at it, if you enjoyed this video, click on the thumbs up icon. And why not consider whether or not you'd like to subscribe to my channel. I talk about music, movies, and television, mostly from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know, the good stuff. But most importantly, and as always, thank you so much for watching.